everyone. This is Dr. Shiva from GWFM, founder president of Global Workforce Management charity body, USA and Canada, and then in India. So today it gives me great pleasure interviewing Sunil Aryan from Verint, Director of Practice Asia. Great to have you with us, Sunil, today.
Hi, Dr. Shiva. Thanks for having me. Pleasure to talk to you always.
Thank you. And we are meeting up after a long time after our meeting in Manila. This is the great pleasure again catching up with you. Really learned a lot while having conversation with you in Manila or at Shangri-La.
Thank you. Thank you. That was a great event as well. I really liked that event. Sorry, of course in India we've been speaking, but face to face, yes. Good to see you again.
Absolutely. So GWFM does executive interviews with CEOs, CXOs, and global leaders. I welcome you to be part of this executive interview. It gives me great pleasure having you with us. So I got a few questions to have a conversation with you, Sunil. We have a couple of questions where related to current trends, especially during the COVID time, that how well we have done and how well we have been performing better. So this would definitely give a good light and probably good sharing for the community in our WFM community and also beyond, right? So I have
I'll try to do my best. I'll try to do my best.
Thank you. First question: how has WFM helped to transit into post-COVID world? Could you share some light on that?
Sure. I can give my perspective, although, the industry specialists, the workforce practitioners, they've lived through it. Luckily, the COVID situation is now tapering off, mercifully. And while we were looking at COVID, I think we had this transition into a phase where the historical patterns, or the historical way of doing work didn't matter. In the new normal, I think people did all sorts of things, right up to trying to get their machines at home. I think those were the focus areas. But now, since operations are stabilizing, I would say there is a mixed environment which has been created for people, that some of the individuals will keep working from home, and there is now a shift to office as well. So which sort of requires a mix of intelligent mix to be done, because it's not as simple as we had employees working from home and we have certain in office. We have to think of employees who come to office. What will be their zones they will be working from, because there will be regulatory requirements for us to separate them. There will be health checks which will take place on a regular basis, and there is hygiene to be maintained. So I think the new world is going to see, initially, at least for 6 months, zone, even in office, we'll have to create zones where employees can sit, and they'll have to be intimated much in advance. And that's something will befall on the WFM guys. They will really have to think through how they manage this. Also, the fact that if 6 months is the scenario, many of the employees are going to be hired remotely, trained remotely, and put to work remotely, which is sort of going to be the norm going forward, and that is going to bring in an interesting mix too. But I think this solutions or the practices that individuals have will matter a lot to manage these kind of scenarios. But communicating to the employee will be critical, and that's where I think organizations like us, Verint, become very active with our solutions.
Absolutely. In fact, it's a really good answer, and I see that it's really been happening, and it's really kind of uncertain at the same time that how is that we are embracing and the head continuing the business is something very important aspects of it.
That is true. That's true.
Right. So I have a second question, a very interesting one. Verint has shown resilience with 53% of market share in APAC. What have been the enablers to achieve this?
Well, yes, thank you for bringing that up. We're very proud of the fact that it's DMG who came out with this study, and they rated us at as with a 53% market share, where we are leading the nearest other vendor by 25% margin. And also, I think our second growth area has been back office and branch WFM, where we are actually leading almost by 60% with the nearest vendor, because we have a sort of a specialty in that space. So what has been the success factor? What has been the enabler? There are many things to name. I mean, it's the team which is there, of course, but also our approach to the WFO space. You might not know this, but Verint was the first industry vendor to create a WFO solution set by various acquisitions and trying to bring solution as a holistic package. Because when people do workforce management, they're looking at a specific type of measurement of individuals as well. Whereas a quality person has a slightly different perception of that. So while, simple example, WFM guys will focus on AHT, quality guys will focus on quality, which can be, countering each other. So bringing these solutions together, this was our vision point, and that vision has carried on. And that has kept us in front of the market. We are the, in many spaces, we are the thought leaders. And that has actually given us the benefits and, how should I call it, kept us in the lead. And that has also kept us, ahead, I would say, because many of our solutions did not require us to change a lot to address the current scenario. And that talks about our strength, solution-wise. And I would say that would be the primary area. Besides that, I can talk about technology, but I think I don't want to bore everyone.
This has been a fantastic news. In fact, none of us have no idea as of now. Like 53% is a good percentage. I mean, you have captured most of the market, which is something very good to share. I'm so happy to know that.
Thank you.
Folks as well should know that 50% of market share Verint has. Something very interesting.
Yes.
All right. So I have our next question. Verint has been excellent in providing systems and tool support for the customers in ensuring business continuity plan and management. We know Verint has been very instrumental in helping solving customers and business problems. What has been the game changer for the industry, and like for you during the COVID-19? If you could just shed some light on that, throw some light on that.
I mean, of course, I will talk from the WFM perspective. There have been many factors, because Verint has a very large portfolio addressing both the customer analytics, addressing employee engagement with solutions like knowledge management, and the workforce optimization space. And everything has a different element or flavor of addressing COVID. However, if I stick to workforce optimization or workforce management, I keep using workforce optimization. The reason is, for us, WFM is part of a holistic approach. It is not a siloed approach. It is where we want to identify that, for example, even if we did only WFM as a solution, that solution would be able to address back office. It will be able to address contact center, definitely, and also retail banking operations out of the same platform. And that has been, for enterprises, that's the ideal solution they're looking for. They don't want a different set to come out in a branch operations or even for the back office operations. So that holistic approach has given us a lot of, I should say, ease in helping out in organizations in COVID. When some of our customers had a ramp up, which was required in the contact center space, whereas the back office could be done from home, because they had certain regulatory requirements for them to address or calls from office. We could accommodate that because we could cross optimize the back office and the contact center employees. And that I think is a sort of thing that we've been doing within COVID. because WFM on its own was very naturally accommodating all the new workflows which were required. I talked about the zonal pieces, informing employees, involving employees, which of employees ready to come to office, which is who's reporting a temperature, bringing that into the mix of WFM. We always have that, and it was just activating those. How should I call it? Approach points or communication parameters. So for us, that has been a big change, I would say. And the reason we are able to do all this is probably because, WFM from Verint, when you look at it, I think some people know that it is the old school Blue Pumpkin, which was acquired. But what they don't know is we also acquired Axometry, we acquired Demos, who are specialists in banking, WFM for the branches and in back office space. Then we acquired GMT, which believed in WFM everywhere. And I think the last acquisition was Monet. And Monet basically, again, is a cloud-based, born in cloud WFM. So all these holistic approach points kept us, engaged with our customers. I should not miss out while I'm talking about solutions, and I tend to do that a lot. I should not miss out on the fact that it's actually our services team which has taken the load off it. Services and consulting team. I would like to point out that any solution that you may have will not be effective till the time it is used properly. And our services and consulting members, they are absolutely phenomenal in this space. And during COVID, they've been on calls, they've been trying to fix the operational requirements which are there, because the solution is there. And as I said, workflows are there, it could fix their issues. But it is that team which has gone out and helped out the clients, and we've been really appreciative.
That sounds good, and the kind of journey that Verint has gone through, super fabulous story, and people should know about this, and especially our community should know more about Verint. Fantastic one.
I'm glad to share.
Moving on to the next one, very interesting one. What do you think the next gen WFM solutions are going to be like?
Next gen WFM solutions. Well, that's putting a little bit out there as a question. I would say that there are two thought processes on this. One is focused on where the tech is taking us with WFM, which is about probably people thinking that it will have AI elements, it will have AI, ML, automation built in. I think Verint always believed the fact that it is there. It will always be there. It's a natural evolution of the solution. It's nothing revolutionary, I would say, in that sense. Tech will always come in and play a role in enhancing the solution. But I think where it is changing is the element of employee engagement. That's where I think WFM is changing, and that's where it will head. Whatever technology takes us there. For simple things like mobility, employees being able to interact from home, very useful. It has been immensely useful for our customers during COVID period. And employees could immediately tell that, okay, they have a zonal problem, their building has been locked out, they will not be able to come to office. That kind of engagement, employee-centric WFM is what is going to be the new norm, I would say. And what kind of technology will get us there? Well, I think tech is something which is an enabler. It is not the driver for WFM. So that's what I think is, where it is headed. And also because of that, if I talk about this a little more, if you allow me, this sounds a bit like, HR discussion, employee-centric, and WFM needs to focus more on that, but that's a fact. And I think in Manila as well, we discussed that, we have the generation Z or Z, if you may want to call it, which is coming out and which has a very different perception of work, the gig working that we talk about. And we need to address that eventually. COVID has just sort of put us into that spot earlier. And I think industry has taken that into its stride, and many people are geared up to work for 1 year from home. That's where I think the focus area is going to be. How do we make it more WFM, more democratic, if I may call it?
Absolutely. But very well mentioned about next gen, definitely, like including the robotics, right? So like man taking, I mean, machine taking over man, and then, like, but however, the human touch is required. However, the business continuity and business performance is really has to happen. I'm sure that, technology is enabler. There's the next generation of WFM. So very well shared, and I appreciate your thought process on that, Sunil. Uh, Sunil, I have last question. Uh, what do you like to convey to our WFM fraternity? You know that GWFM has got 20,000 WFM professionals. We've been touching their heart and soul. We are being a community. You want to serve them, and you want to help them out in terms of skilling, upskilling, building a professional platform like professional networking, and creating kind of professional, knowledge sharing kind of it. So, what do you think that, like, I mean, share some light on what do you want to communicate to the WFM professionals?
Well, what can I say? I mean, we talked a lot on where WFM is headed. I think, and this is my, you may call this personal thought, that WFM team has been doing a lot of heavy lifting in many aspects of operations, and be it for pointing out we need specific hiring plan, or many HR type of functions related to leave management, approval of mechanism, balancing operations with the demand supply, doing a lot of stuff. And I think that role is changing as well, and, in the sense that if eventually we have to come to, as WFM community, come to a place where we are not only pointing out that I need a specific type of a skill, but also bring in plans via solutions, or as a practice, how we can enhance that individual to perform better on a regular basis. I need a skill, but if this person has joined us, how do I keep their skill primed up? How do I make them optimal employee for, or a optimal FTE, as WFM guys call it, for myself, for the operations? And that role has to evolve slightly. I think this is being done to some extent, and well, I think it needs to enhance further. That has always been our thought at Verint as well, and because we are always thinking beyond this particular crisis or the next crisis that may come. We want that the WFM community should look at our solution as a way to navigate the new normals which keep coming all the time. And we are there to, at Verint, there to rapidly engage and respond to whatever your customers' requirements are.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Sunil, for great interaction with you for a couple of minutes. Truly, I really learned a lot during the conversation, and I'm sure that WFM fraternity, is going to benefit a lot out of our discussions, and we'll catch you up for many more discussions very soon. Others, thank you so much for having you with us today in the executive interview. It's really been lovely.
Always a pleasure. Always a pleasure talking to you, Dr. Shah.
Thanks, Sunil. Good to have you.
Thank you.
So we'll catch up soon. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate your presence. Thank you.